For over a century, Chevrolet cars have symbolized American ingenuity and American style. Every week on our show, we pay homage to that legend by showing you some of the coolest cars that have ever worn the signature bow tie. Pull up a chair and check out some great Chevys from yesterday and today, right here on the Menards Chevy Show. Well, if you're a fan of racing and cool cars, you no doubt know all about Darlington Raceway, one of the most famous tracks in all of American motorsports. Well, just 5 miles up the road, it's little brother. It's Darlington Dragway. Since 1976, it's been known as the House of Speed, and this weekend, it's the home of the Menards Chevy Show. Without question, the '69 Camaro is an American icon, and we think you'll agree that this one is certainly worthy of this week's Rock Auto Restored Award. Kenny Brazel's bringing a little bit of razzle-dazzle here with the '69 Camaro. What's on it from Rock Auto?
We got weather stripping and different small stuff like some interior clips, a little bit of everything.
This car has quite a history for you, and it's pretty personal. What's the story?
My dad bought it for me in 1976. I drove to high school until probably the mid-'80s. We were racing, blew the motor up in it, set my dad's shop. He kept saying, "What you want to do to this Camaro? What you want to do to the car?" And I kept saying, "Dad, we'll do something with it one day." My dad got sick with cancer and he passed away, and I told my wife, we're going down there and get the Camaro and work on it.
What is it like now compared to what it looked like in high school?
It's no comparison. It's got all new components under, upper and lower control arms, tubular, LS3, 6.2 liter, so it's like a new Camaro with an old body on it, so it drives great. All the interior stuff come out of a new Camaro, and we kind of tweaked it and cut them down and made it fit kind of the look we were wanting.
How much of this did you do yourself?
Except painting the car and the little bit of interior work we done. I had a friend of mine, Brett Kimball, actually painted the car for me.
How does it feel to have restored the car that you and your father had together?
It's a good feeling. It brings back good memories. When I was a kid, 13, 14 years old, my uncles and all of them were racing, so I'm kind of a little kid looking at a big picture saying, man, this is cool. And when I started back to working on it, it brings all them thoughts come back to you, and it's just a neat deal.
And will you then pass this on to your kids?
I've got 2 sons, and I've got a granddaughter and a grandson, and both has been all over the car. My granddaughter actually helped me sand on it. She's 8 years old, so them same feelings, I hope they'll feel the same when they get older. It'll go to somebody in the family. It's not going to be sold, that's for sure.
Congratulations to Blythewood, South Carolina's Kenny Brazel, winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award. 1970 marked the debut of the second-generation Camaro. Philip Lee has a great-looking example of one, and it is our first producer's pick.
I got the car about 3 years ago, and we decided to make it into a project car. We got it with the body and paint intact, but everything else was in dire need of updating. So we took about 2 years, several Friday afternoons and evenings to get it in the state it is now. It's a big block, dark, big M. It's a 454 stroke, and I bored the block out to make a 509. Callie's crank, Oliver rods, SRP pistons, Brodick heads, the 850 on it, try to make it a little bit streetable. Dynoed at about 768 horsepower. The car's been totally disassembled, frame off, rebuilt the front end on it, remounted the engine mounts to get that engine block in there. We welded the frame together, put frame connects on it. The interior's been totally gutted all the way down, put the fat mat in it, and then rebuilt the interior back with new stuff. The rear end's been beefed up some, new brakes, new transmission, just basically from the front to the rear, everything's been reworked.
How satisfying is it to start with what you started with and end up with this?
It's starting to be very satisfying. There were some ups and downs during those 2 years of construction, but it's starting to come around now, and I'm starting to enjoy myself with it.
What's it like when you reach a point where you look at yourself in the mirror and say, what have I gotten myself into?
It's a bad feeling. You just have to look forward to the end of the construction, and you know you'll be happy when you get there, but it is sometimes frustrating. But I'm proud of it. In the end, I'm glad I went through with it.
Well, this next vehicle isn't exactly the belle of the ball, but to me it's inspirational because Russ Fox, like I would love to do, uses it as a daily driver. Tell me about your 1953 Chevrolet truck.
Well, it's just a truck I found down in Gainesville, Florida. I was looking for something that was in decent shape, that was mechanically good. Drove it home that day from Florida to South Carolina, which is always risky. Got me home, and it's been a fun little project truck to work on, and it's just been a lot of fun. You know, there's always things to fix on these things. I rearranged the steering geometry, put EFI on it, put some different seats in it, made it comfortable. You know, just to be able to go out and drive this thing when you want to for fun. It's a pleasure. It was a childhood dream to have a hot rod.
Why was it important for you to have a truck that you could use to drive all the time?
If it wasn't perfect, I didn't have to keep it perfect. So therefore, it gave me the freedom to drive it to the grocery store, run it to church. You know, it's got some rust, it's got some dings and dents. I know I had a pallet fall over on it probably a month after I had it and added another ding, and I said, well, that's why I bought this kind of truck. It didn't kill me, and I still enjoy it.
We're just getting started here at the Menards Chevy Show. Don't go anywhere because we've got lots more classic American eye candy coming up from Darlington.
The Menards Chevy Show is brought to you by Chris Austin's Chassis Works, the home of higher technology. C-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system. Dickey Parts Center, your source for custom-built street-to-strip power. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back. You know, there's something about sitting in a black Monte Carlo with a 3 on the side at Darlington that makes you feel really cool. And this is a 2002 Chevy Monte Carlo Dale Earnhardt edition. It belongs to Charles Biggs out of Virginia, and it's just another example of some really neat hardware you'll see when you come to a Menards Chevy show. Case in point, check out this rig. Local car guy Mike Carter brought his 52 Chevy pickup to the party, and he also brought the party, a big old smoker hitched to the back.
It has a 350 transmission, 350 engine in it. It has an 81 Oldsmobile front end under it. It has a 9-inch Ford rear end under it with about a 371 gear. 85 Chrysler Daytona red paint, and it's got a custom hog cooking grill that goes with it. I put all the chrome on it. I have Mickey Thompson tires all the way around. Said there's a tilt bed on it, which you kind of have to have that to change the back tires. And I've added alarm system and cruise control. And it also has AC, power windows, and tilt. Tell me more about this grill. I had a guy out of Sumter, South Carolina build this grill. It was just some ideas I had and came up with, and it took me about 2 years to get it though, but I got it.
What do you like about the 52 Chevy truck?
The 5-1 is what caught my eye, being a short bed, and this is a custom short bed. It's even a little bit shorter than a regular 5-1 truck, right up my alley.
We love hard-to-find vehicles on the Menards Chevy Show, and you'll have to travel far and wide to find another truck like our next producer's pick. We see a lot of Chevy trucks from the 1950s, and this 58, it's not just an Apache, it's a rather special one. Jack Sanders is the proud owner. What makes this one unique?
In 58, all the trucks were named Apache, but this trim was the Cameo the last year for it. Built 1,405 of them in 1958, and they started building them in 55. So that makes it the only truck with 2 names. LS2 motor, 6-liter out of a 2006 Trailblazer SS, and it's got a 4LE60 transmission in it, so that makes it pretty good gas mileage. I get a little over 22 miles per gallon in it. I've got close to 10,000 miles on it now in 11 months.
What makes this truck so comfortable to drive long distance?
It's a Wise Guys hot rod seat, and it's comfortable. It's got electric lumbar, and I got that seat for my wife. It's air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, everything's in leather. Can't get much more comfortable than that.
What did this truck look like when you found it?
Well, a guy was doing it as a project, and it was all black. The paint was all done, but he stopped at the rear fiberglass fenders. He didn't know what to do. That's how I bought it, and I don't like black.
Why don't you like black?
Oh, I cleaned black when I was a kid, and I hate doing it. I'm too old to clean it anymore. Silver hides dirt. That's a secret out there. Silver hides dirt. Every time I stop, it takes me 30 minutes to get filled up with gas, because people go to it like a magnet.
Sounds like a good problem to have.
Oh, it's a great problem. I love it. I've wanted that truck for 35 years. I looked for one, and I finally found one after I retired from the Air Force, and lucky it had all the parts to it, and I love it.
You don't have to stray too far from this area to find some magnificent machines. William Baker lives just down the road in Sumter, South Carolina, and he owns a great 69 Chevelle. And now he also owns the OPGI Original Award. Tell me about this car. What kind of condition was it in when you got it?
It looked pretty much like it does now, but it just had some places in the paint didn't like, and around the vinyl top, had to do some fixing on that. And like I say, it's hard to find what I was looking for, and we found this one on the internet, and I bought it from up North Carolina.
What were you looking for?
I was wanting a 69 Chevelle, blue, black vinyl top, and I did put the black stripes on it.
And how much did you do yourself?
Probably half of it. I helped with the stripping down and all, painting it and all. Then I got somebody to cover the seats for me, and a friend of mine helped me put the air conditioning and the transmission in it.
Tell me about the drivetrain.
It's a 350 with a 700 R4 all-wheel drive transmission. It's got a 308 gear in it. It's something cruising, it's nothing fast, but that's all I wanted anyway. I don't care for getting out there racing and stuff.
How much of a labor of love was this?
It means a lot more when you got hands on, feel like you've done something. It's not just going and buying something that's already fixed for somebody else that's already completed. I enjoy messing with cars. I used to have a 68 Chevelle back in my 20s.
Why was this the Chevelle you've always wanted?
When I was in high school, I couldn't afford what I really wanted, and I've always liked the Chevelle. 69 I like better than the 68s, but at the time I found a 68 and bought it. And then this took me 40 years to get another Chevelle after I retired.
Well, it looks like it was worth the wait. Congratulations to William Baker, this week's winner of the OPGI Original Award. Still to come, a closer look at our host facility, Darlington Raceway, and some of the coolest Chevys around. Don't touch that remote. Welcome back to Darlington. Well, we showed you this 2002 Monte Carlo SS, and this car is one of the legends that inspired it. It's a 1972 SS. It's owned by Freddie Sturkey. He's a local. It's got the original 454 under the hood, and he tells me the hood is a one-off cowl induction. You won't find that anywhere else except here at a Menards Chevy show. The Menards Chevy show travels all over to some of the greatest car collector communities in the country. This week's host is historic Darlington Dragway. Check out their calendar. It seems like there's always something brewing here. It's a great place to show your car, or to race it, or just to come as a spectator.
We try to do a little bit of everything. We have anything from your bracket racing as we have today, grudge racing, motorcycle shows, junior dragster. We have a race for kids, and it's actually a big race for kids that have disabilities, and we raise money for them. We've actually just let them use the track for the weekend at no cost, so it's kind of our way of giving back to the kids that are going to be in these cars sooner than later.
What is it like to be a part of the racing heritage of Darlington?
Pretty awesome, actually. I don't know if a lot of people know this. This place was actually the first place a door car actually went 200 mile an hour. It's also the first place a car went 6 seconds in the quarter of a mile. So it's got a lot of history here. Like you said, down in Pro Mod country, so we have a lot of NHRA teams that come and test with us throughout the week for the national events and stuff like that. Man, over the last 40 plus years, it's pretty important. I mean, they used to do the big IHRA Winter Nationals here every year. It was actually really instrumental to IHRA, and we just try to continue that tradition with what we do here.
The construction of this track, it was pioneering in its day. Tell me about that.
So actually the same gentleman built this place, the Darlington Circle Track, Rockingham Dragway, and I believe South Georgia Motorsports Park. The concrete stands is the giveaway. At all of them tracks he's built, it has concrete stands on implemented into the hill.
What do you have on the calendar for 2019?
We try to average about 2 big buck bracket races a year. PDRA will be back with us again. We're probably going to have the IHRA bracket finals again next year. We're real big with small tire racing right now. That's kind of a big thing. We hold a couple records here. We battle back and forth, so we're looking to have maybe a couple bigger races with that. One of our bigger races is every April. We have Woodstock the week of April 13th next year.
What's it like having Menards Chevy show here?
Menards Chevy show is a lot of fun. Family can come out and kind of see the hot rods over there and watch some fast cars and just enjoy the whole day, and there's a little bit in the for each member of the family to do here.
What can a racer expect when he comes to Darlington Dragway?
We try to make them have fun and enjoy their experience from the time they come to the gate until the time they leave back to the gate, because that attitude carries on throughout the whole event here. So we try to make them just have fun.
This next car is brought to you by Zing T, and it's naturally cool. Well, at first blush, it looks just like a 2016 Corvette you could pick up at the dealership, but Willie, tell us what makes this one rare.
Well, actually it belongs to my wife, and I think she did a little research on it, and I think it came up to being like 1 of 14 with these specs. Shark gray with a Kalahari top and Kalahari interior.
And it has this sport suspension and active handling, the data recorders, and for it to be an LT2, it should have actually been an LT3 with all the options that was ordered on it.
You've added a few things to it, right?
Yeah, she's been busy. We actually painted some parts under to match the interior of the car to bring the interior outside. And then we added a lot of chrome to it and a lot of LEDs.
Tell me the backstory behind it.
My wife's battling cancer right now, so she was kind of down and out about it. You know, I had just bought me a new car for my birthday. And she was saying she would like to have one, but she wanted this special color.
I want to get one that's shark gray with the Kalahari top and interior because I just love the color combination.
And for some reason, we was pulling off the interstate and looked to the side, and the very car she was talking about was sitting in the car lot.
When he bought the car for me, it was just made me think how much he loved me and wanted to help me, give me a motivation to keep fighting and not to give up. I like the top down and the wind in my hair, and I really like the way it handles on the road and the curves. I just love the car.
Got a lot of side effects from the treatment she had, so it's going to be an uphill battle, but we're going to do it. She's going to make it.
And we wish you nothing but the best. We love the story and we love the car. It's naturally cool, and it's brought to you by Zing Tea. We're not finished yet. In our next segment, some classic Chevrolets you're gonna love. This is Darlington, and this is the Menards Chevy Show.
The Menards Chevy Show is brought to you by Performance Unlimited, your crate engine experts, building your dream in hours, one engine at a time. Willwood Disc Brakes, high-performance disc brakes and brake components. Exalta Coating Systems, we paint winners. And by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust.
Well, I finally found a car I could afford here at the Menards Chevy Show. This is a model of a '67 Camaro convertible. And Barry Clark, this served as inspiration for your real Camaro.
Yes, it did. I found the original car 5 years ago, allegedly a frame-off restoration that I got deceived on. Much like many guys who don't know a whole lot about cars when they go into it, I just wanted to find a car that I could love on a little bit, but didn't need a lot of work. Well, as I got into this car after about a year, I found that the rear quarters were chicken wire and Bondo, the front clip was rusted, the engine rebuild was just simply a valve cover change, the transmission began leaking at about 6 months, so I had to get online and begin to figure out what I really had. Fortunately, I joined the services of some guys up in Mooresville at Quarter Mile Muscle. They redid the bodywork for me and repainted the car. I've subsequently changed out the transmission, rewired the car, done new cooling systems and coilovers, disc brakes, so it's basically now my car. My wife affectionately calls her the mistress. As I tell her, at least you know who I'm spending my money on and my time with.
How much thought did you give into restoring it, and how much did you want to just get rid of it?
I had no intention of getting rid of it. I absolutely love the car. I love the style. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I do hip and knee reconstruction. I reconstruct things that are broken or that need love. And this car needed a lot of love. The hard part was the deception. Once I got over the deception, then it was just a matter of taking care of the girl. When I was in grade school, high school, I had a next door neighbor who reclaimed cars from the crusher and flipped them. And he allowed me to get in his way. I owe him a tremendous debt of gratitude. And to this group, First Gen Camaro Connection online, that have been very patient with me with silly questions. 5 years later, I have this girl behind me, and I'm really proud of her.
We can see why. And I'd be proud if I was Scott Conley, too. His black '69 Camaro is our next producer's pick.
This car was kind of a field find. Had a couple of quarter panels and a trunk and a roof. Engine was shot, got a good deal on it. Frame was fine, never been wrecked, so the frame was good. We had a good base to start with. Allowed us to build exactly what I wanted to build. I grew up with a '69 Camaro living next door. That was my alarm clock every morning, so I knew that's what I wanted. I at least knew what I wanted it to sound like. Spent a lot of work on the engine, the headers, the muffler, the sound to get the perfect kind of thunder sound. Got the muffler shop there to adjust until we got exactly that rumble. A little aggressive. You want somebody to know you're coming.
How much of this car did you do yourself?
Probably 50%, no body work at all. Black Dog Restorations in Danville, Virginia actually did the body work for me. Rock Auto was definitely got a lot of parts from there. crate engine since the engine was gone. Switched out the transmission because it was automatic transmission. I wanted the Jericho 4-speed, and definitely added air conditioning since we changed the color to black. Was going to need that.
Now I understand there's another little black Camaro in the family.
Yes, definitely. I had to get my grandson Colton a new model Camaro, but he's got an electric car, painted it up and clear coat just like mine. We've actually done a couple of shows. He's carried his little car and parked beside of me. He says it goes fast. I have to run to keep up with him. I need some brakes or a remote control on the car now.
One more producer's pick. It's a fine-looking specimen owned by Cephas Piver out of Tabor City, North Carolina.
64 Impala Super Sport. Bought it from a guy in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Actually, I came to find out that the car was sold right there at a hometown 20 miles from me. It was in pretty fair shape. It's not exactly restored, but it's new paint job, new interior, new running gear, new front end, pretty much new everything but just being cleaned up under. Replaced the original 327 with a later model 350 engine. 200 R4 overdrive transmission in it.
Pretty slick looking interior. Tell me about that.
The car was a dark royal blue, Daytona blue with blue interior. The paint now came off of an 05 Silverado Chevrolet truck called a Rival Blue, and I love the silver interior. Everybody thought I was crazy when I told them I was going to put silver interior in.
What do they think now?
They love it. Good as I do. As good as it looks, it sounds even better. Got that comp cam thumper cam in it, and it sounds real good. It drives good. In other words, it's got modern day power steering, power brakes. It runs and drives perfect. Almost like a new car.
Thanks to our great hosts at Darlington Dragway, and thanks to everyone who brought out their Chevy cars and trucks. We're glad we can help you get your Chevy fix. Be sure to come back for more next week here on the Menards Chevy Show.